This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, iTube 247, Women on TV, all platforms around the world. And so, okay, I always say this, it's a special show because each show is special. But this one is a special show. You know why? Because we've got three of our co-hosts on. So, from Houston, Texas, Trixie Gynn, the one and only Amazon Award winner. And Terri Marie is calling me, but you know what? Of Custom Trends. And from Houston, Texas, vocally Tosh, Nathasha Rumbos, singer-songwriter, a good friend, good co-host, and I'm really, really proud of her. And welcome back from Colombia. And all the way from Portugal, Danielle Martins, best-selling author of Rising Up with Slave Mentality. See, I have to remember I'm doing all the stuff off the fly. And all the way from the UK on their time, everybody, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I want to I want to say good morning, first of all, and thank you for coming to us in the U.S. on evening times. Mark, I wanted to introduce you, but you have to introduce yourself. You know why? Because you're that world-renowned DJ. You have that book that's Life Remixed. You're that world-renowned person of the moment. Mark, who are you? Where are you coming from?
Bless you. Thank you, Brian. It's lovely to be here, and hello, everyone. So my name's Mark Wilkinson. I'm an ex-resident DJ at the Ministry of Sound in London. I'm now, as of next week, as of next Tuesday, I'll be a published author with a book called Life Remixed. I've had a record in the UK top 10 with Lou Reed and David Bowie. I've traveled all over the globe, 65 countries. I've got some stories to tell, when I ended up in some very dark places with an incurable disease and bankruptcy, but I'm kind of really happy and grateful to say that I've come out the other side and I'm in a really good place now, Brian.
So the good thing about this is, Tosh, you'll get a chance to hear someone who's done all that stuff, because talking about house music, she's more on the Latino side of things. And then Trixie, you like sports, you like music. We all like to promote things like that. I haven't gotten the book yet, but what I know about Mark, I've been watching him, and I've been watching Danielle a lot. She's been on all last week with shows on our Zoom shows doing stuff. It's been quite interesting because Mark's been working his butt off. It seems like he's been on every show that we can imagine for there. And we have to say a special thank you to Judy O'Brien from Hashmark Publishing, because I like their stuff that they have, and they will be on the next couple of months coming on. And the reason for this is I want to talk to them specifically because right now we're booked up until mid to late June. So luckily we had to get Mark in because we were supposed to talk to Shay, our CEO from Women on TV and Worldwide TV Network, but her husband, Steve, went in for surgery today. So what's the chances that Mark could come in just like right before his book is opening, right? And they're okay. Nothing is a coincidence, right? I think that's really, really good. Talk about Life Remixed. Talk about why it's important. And you have a couple interesting things that you did, because talking about house music starting when you were 14 years old, that's really interesting. Take it from there.
So interesting that you say that I've been everywhere in the last few weeks, because I haven't actually left the house, Brian. Yeah,
I know.
I haven't actually left this place, right? But I've been everywhere, which is amazing, right? So technology is fantastic. So Life Remixed is a book. It starts off a little bit with my story, and I'll talk about that in a second. It was how much fun it was when I was younger and all the things I got up to, but then how bad it got when things are really, really dark. But then all the strategies that come after that are the ways I fixed it. And these are strategies that are open to absolutely anybody to try. All I did was learn from very intelligent people like Bob Proctor, like Tony Robbins, some really intelligent people. And I studied more and more with those guys, and I just kept going and kept going. And I've become more successful and happily married and happy, healthy and wealthy. So none of this is an accident. But what I would say is going back to the younger times, I first heard music when I was like 6. You know, my mum had Elvis and the Beatles on in the mid-70s, and I was like, what's this? And I love music. Music was always that feeling, that buzz, that real joy for me. And then I got into soul music in the 80s, and I was a soul boy, and I went out to like Radio London soul nights out. But then 1988, I'm 18. I'm slap bang in the middle of London when the acid house music explosion, you know, house music came over from Chicago, that amazing story from Frankie Knuckles, The Warehouse, you know, and all the other clubs that were going on around there in New York and everywhere else around the States. This music came to Ibiza, and then it came to London, and I'm 18 years of age, and I'm standing in the middle of nightclubs right at the same time that I had some serious addictive problems. And I was addicted to a lot of pleasurable things, but I didn't know when to stop. So the party, I managed to make the party last about 20 years in total.
That's a long party.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, well, there's a great line.
What's wrong with that? Come on.
There's a great line from The Great Gatsby, film The Great Gatsby, with Leonardo DiCaprio. And he says, a little party never killed nobody. And he's right in that respect, but one big 20-year-old party ended up being, you know, a bit too much for me, I think.
Houston, I mean, Trixie, what do you think about that one?
Well, I don't know, man. It's been 20 years plus, and it's not going to stop. It actually keeps getting better. Keep partying. It's how it goes. You know, you just have to know when to stop, take your little moment and breaks, and then keep it going.
I didn't know when to stop, Trixie. I didn't know when to stop. I was foot to the floor, get full gas, let's go. And I just, I got carried away.
So Danielle, give a little background of why his book, Life Remixed, is very interesting and why people should go out and buy this.
I think that first of all, the book is full of funny anecdotes, you know. The way it was written is very light, you know. He tells about his story, and he also gives you inputs on how he got out of the troubled times, you know. But he doesn't make that kind of serious book, you know. It's a very light book. It's a very fun book for you to read, you know. And it not only gives you life lessons, but in a lighter way, you know. I love it.
Thank you, Danielle.
Welcome.
So, Tosh, as that singer-songwriter, when you're hearing a disc jockey, when the clubs open up, and they will sometime after April, slowly but surely, but you're in Miami, so the clubs never really closed to begin with, which was kind of scary. But talk about that aspect. When you hear your music and that disc jockey's playing that stuff, what do you think about that? Because one, it's a thrill, but think about what Mark was doing back in the day. He's kind of still doing it, but he's kind of retired, but he's still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I have yet to hear my song in a club, but when that day happens, I think I'll be like, please line up 3 shots for me and for everybody in this club because my song is playing. So definitely as a DJ, I've been like, when I here in Miami, it's pretty easy to like, you know, get into like the DJ booth and kind of get that experience, like what the DJ is seeing and like just the energy from the crowd. So I can imagine like the same type of adrenaline and energy that the DJ is receiving from everybody, just like, yeah, like enjoying everything. Like, I feel like that would be what I would feel if I hear my song playing in a club and people like singing along with it. So that is a huge goal of mine for sure. Mark, question for you. Now, since you DJ'd for such a long time, was being an author like part of your like goals like earlier, or that kind of happened as everything started happening with the whole music?
Honestly, yeah, don't give me too much credit. I didn't plan this. I didn't plan this too well. I mean, I've literally just followed my heart a lot of the time. But what I've done this time around is becoming an author. It's still a very creative thing, like being a DJ. And absolutely great description, by the way, of that moment when I stood in front of 1,000 people. The maximum was probably about 2,000. Well, no, probably more actually. At a festival, few festivals, up to like 5,000 people in front of me, and I'm playing a record, and the whole place just erupts. It's just phenomenal. You just stand there, you know, and particularly even if it's one of your own records that you've produced as well. Obviously, I was a record producer as well. Producing a record that then uplifts people as well is phenomenal. So I can't wait to hear your story when you finally hear that song, because it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen for you. But no, I didn't plan a book. Essentially, I was a DJ for 20 years. I had all my eggs in the music basket. So I made records, I played records, I remixed records. I was a resident DJ. I traveled to 65 countries. I went everywhere. I just lived a young man's dream for nearly 20 years, like I said. It was amazing fun. But then when it wasn't fun anymore was the day that I collapsed. And that's how I start the chapter. That's how I start chapter 1 of Life Remixed, because I did actually have a physical collapse when I hit the floor, and I'm laying on the floor going, I don't know what's happened. I wasn't unconscious, but I was laying on the floor. My leg gave way. And so the weird thing about that was it was a life-changing moment. My friend calls it nature's handbrake, because it was literally like, stop, what's going on? You need to start listening, And I did. Thankfully, at that moment, that was so severe that I did start to listen. But as it took me a few years of like studying. I watched The Secret, and I connected with Bob Proctor and all these great teachers. And I watched The Secret 100 times. I got my head around the law of attraction, the law of vibration. And I moved myself into this place that I realized I was responsible for all of it. And when I got responsible for all of it, I realized I could fix it. And when I realized I could fix it, I thought, this is a good story if I can actually go from, and the story is basically unable to walk. And I ran 4 marathons. So I ran the London Marathon 3 times and the Berlin Marathon once. And then the other part of the story was bankrupt at my late 30s to now financially free at 50. And that's a story I felt that was worth telling. So it's been on my mind to write this book for 10 years, and finally it's coming out next Tuesday.
So we gotta welcome Nonstop from Redondo Beach, California. Terri made it on. Thank you, Terri.
Hey, Terri.
So technical problem. Sorry.
And Mark can relate to that, huh, Mark?
Yeah. We all know about that.
So, Mark, check this out. Think about this. And we talked about this last week. However, you and I was a disc jockey. You still are. And we have DJ Badash, who does stuff worldwide. You know that rush of that crowd. You know what it's like to play that songs. But once you're laid up, like that star athlete, you're laid up and you can't go anywhere. And all of a sudden, your real friends start to come into the picture, don't they? Because all of a sudden, you're not in that party anymore. You're not that main attraction anymore. You're not traveling anymore. You're laid up in the house and you can't really move. And you're like, what the hell's going on?
I heard a great quote once that a true friend walks in when the rest of the world walks out. And it was I had quite a dark time for a while where I had to reinvent myself. But reinventing myself actually meant that I was basically alone most of the time with my thoughts and trying to recreate myself and become, a more rounded individual. But one friend that I'd known for about 10 years by that time, not really closely, but he walked in when the rest of the world walked out, and we helped each other through that sort of dark and difficult time. And we're now lifelong friends, of course, and I've helped him in numerous ways. I actually helped him give up alcohol at one point in his life. I mean, I had to give up alcohol because when a doctor tells you you've got an inflammatory disease in your body, if you keep putting alcohol in, you're probably not being the most sensible person in the world. So I was like, right, I need to stop this. So I give up alcohol, sorted myself out. But yeah, you start to, it's almost like recreating your life all over again. Like I said, nature's handbrake, start again. Bob Proctor said, your way isn't working, try mine. And actually at that moment I went, yeah, go on then. I got nothing to lose. Just teach me. At the back of my mind, I had this little voice that was going, well, if it doesn't work, you can go back to what you were like anyway, because it doesn't matter. But guess what? Here we are like 12 more years later. It's worked perfectly. And I've got multiple businesses, a beautiful wife, lovely homes, properties. It's not an accident, Brian,
Mark, let me ask you this thing. Then I'm going to go to Terri, because I'm challenging Terri to start writing a book, and she's going to get tired of me saying it. Mark, how many people did encourage you to write your book? Because you talked about how long it takes, doesn't it? And Danielle, you can chip in after this too, because it takes a while, if I'm not correct, right?
Well, my book was 50 years in the making, 10 years of an idea. 12 months I tried to write it about 3 working, and I was distracted, and I was working in other jobs and, recreating myself, but I couldn't get it right. I tried it 3 or 4 times. It wasn't good. And I kept getting lost in it. And I was like, I'll put it to one side. But that 10-year gap there, when I finally left the last corporate job about 3 years ago to go into multiple sources of income and entrepreneurship, my wife said to me, right, what are you doing about this book? And I was like, yeah, okay, I have to do this now. She was on me. She was like, come on. I'm like, right, okay. And she's very organized. I think sometimes, her name's Emma. And one of my other coaches said to me once, everybody needs an Emma. Because she literally she said, right, timeline, organized, populate, do this. Honestly, I look at it now, it's 14 chapters long. I'm like, how did I do that? I don't even know how I did it, but it's there. And it's been 12 months of actually solid writing at 5 hours a week or 6 hours a week, but putting it aside and saying that's the time I'm writing. There's no more messing around, no more internet, no more, I'm writing a few hours in the week and 3 hours on a Saturday morning. It's done. That's my time. And I did it, and it's come out beautifully. And then it's been the last 6 months of marketing. So, that's the timeline. I need to do the next one a bit quicker is the real key here. I need to go a bit faster on the next one.
So Danielle, talk about your best-selling author on Amazon. Talk about how long did it take you to write your book? Because Trixie and Tosh, you may not know, she wrote it with Katerina Kazayas, our other co-hosts.
Exactly. The writing of the book was quick. It was only 3 months because, as I told you, I began the book by the chapters. I wrote the chapters in the right order, and then I should only develop the subject. But then between back and forth, email, Katarina for me for Katarina, and then editing and this and write until we published it, it took a year. The writing was very, very easy, very quickly. But then this process, because we don't live in the same countries. I was here in Portugal, Katarina was in LA, and we were only communicating by emails. And this was how the process, took place. But it was a growing process. It was very we first of all the collaboration. Second of all, how much we grow because we are putting our ideas into paper. It's different from keeping them only in our minds. We grow a lot by writing a book.
Trixie, I think you have an interesting story. Terri wants to inspire people. Tosh, I'm not sure what she wants to do yet. I'm still working on that one. But I think it's one of those things where everybody would say, everybody has a story in them. Mark, because you didn't think about writing a book before you got laid up, did you?
No, I didn't believe. I was getting by. I was a DJ. I wasn't Fatboy Slim. I wasn't Carl Cox. I wasn't these huge DJs. I was getting by, and I was at a level, and I enjoyed what I did, and I got in the top 10, as I said, with a track and a remix. And so, but it was never an idea of writing a book. It was literally the disasters that made me dig deep. That look, I had a choice, right? I was thinking about this earlier. I've actually been reading the book on Kindle because it's been uploaded. So I'm just reading it on Kindle. I had a choice, and I'm going to make a bit of a joke about this, but there's a serious side to it. I had a choice at one point when I was so negatively down, unable to move around and just in real savage amounts of pain. I had a choice to go and jump off a building or to dust myself off and say, you know what? I need to sort myself out. Now, thankfully, I've always been a little bit scared of heights, and I didn't fancy jumping off the building. So I'm joking, right? But I was like, I'm not doing that. So I was like, right, I need to sort myself out, dust myself off and go again. But the story of going again to me was the exciting bit. I saw the secret take off, and I saw these people, Marcy Shymoff and Bob Proctor have both endorsed Life Remixed. In fact, Bob Proctor sent me a 2-minute video yesterday for our launch, which has just blown my mind. It's incredible what he said on it. I can't wait to share it with you all. It's going to be available from next week. But, these are people that I've studied with for 15 years. The story becomes something as you grow. As you learn and grow and you've got more to share, then you can share your story. Now, I've written it in the first person because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people probably will be quite interested in all the mad, crazy stuff that I did when I was in the music industry full time, right? Lots of addictions, lots of madness, lots of airports, lots of traveling around the world, all that kind of stuff. So I've put it there because I'm like, well, this is what happened. But lots of people don't do that. Lots of people will write it in a third person, create a character, and then share their story that way. And there's no right or wrong. You've just got to find your route.
So, Terri, what do you think about that?
Well, my issue is that I've got a lot of things that ideas and stuff, but I don't know where to find the time of day because I work 12-hour days at my day job. And then, I do the hosting, and then I spend, 2 hours a day at the gym. And then I've got to help my mom who's, elderly now. So it's like the time I don't even have time to watch TV right now. So that's
Terri, I just want to go into full coach mode. I just want to go into full coach mode with that and say, right, you have to put the time aside. You have to put the time aside. You have to commit. Yeah.
So I guess my thing is that I just waiting for some things to settle down and get organized where I've got the time to do it, because you have to have the time to be organized to do it. And it's just my mom's older now, so she needs my help. And so my spare time is helping her right now. So it's kind of like there's just not enough hours in the day. I mean, if I didn't have my corporate job of 12, because I do work. I work 12 hours a day. I get to start work at like 7 a.m. and I work until like 6. So because I've got
Terri, I couldn't write my book during in the corporate world. It was too hard. So I appreciate what you're saying.
Well, yeah, no, I mean that's the big thing, because it's like I work in medical sales, and it's high pressure, and it's like I have to make quota, and I got numbers, I got meetings, I have this, I have that, or that. So the majority of my day, I'm putting presentations together, and I am doing a lot of, because I have to do a lot of presentations. So that is the challenge right now with me. Is it's not that I don't want to do it; it's just like I just have to find. I guess when the time is right, I'll have the time, but I got to pay bills. So,
take the first step.
My mom needs me right now, because she's 82 and has health issues. So
take the first step, Terri. Get started.
Yeah. What was that?
Dan, he said, take the first step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Danielle, this goes into the other authors that we've been talking to the last 2 weeks. All of those people who came from corporate, who decided to leave their jobs, they started the same way too, right?
Exactly. Because the corporate experience, it takes too much time from us, and it leaves no room for us to managing our times. For example, I have a kid, and I cannot stop my daytime job to assist him with his homework, with his homeschooling. And this, from the point of view of a mother, this is very heartbreaking, because you have the money, but you don't have the freedom. As Mark was able to achieve in his life, money and time freedom. This is the ideal, because it's not about not liking what to do. I love what I do. I work with marketing for over 23 years. I love marketing, but sometimes we get overwhelmed with the amount of time we need to dedicate for that activity. And I totally feel what Terri Marie was saying. For example, for me to write my book, I literally slept only 3, when most 4 hours per night. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. But I was able to complete in 3 months. But I sacrificed a lot of my sleeping time. This is not easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that everything that you do, you got to put 100. I put 100% in everything that I do. And right now, my next big goal is which is part of my inspiration on women, is that I'm going to be doing a fitness show probably in the next 3 or 4 months. So I got to train 2 hours a day after I'm done working. So after I'm done working, then it's like, I swear, like time of day was over. It's 11 o'clock. And then I get up and do it all over again. So I can't even imagine if I had kids, or a husband. So thank God I'm single right now with all the stuff I have going. And then, we've got the shows and the podcasts that we're doing. So it's just, again, it's like, you want to do these things, but then, it's how do you make the time, or you just have to make certain choices. Yeah. But right now Right now, I don't have a choice. This is what I have to do.
But can I just make a suggestion here?
Mhm.
For example, in my case, I really wanted to write my book. But for example, if it would be of any help for you, we have services like ghostwriting. What do we do? We interview, not me because I'm not, but the person who is going to ghostwrite your book. It's going to this person is going to interview you, is going to take notes and make the research in everything you tell this person, and then this person organizes the ideas and writes the subject, the content, and then you come up and review the content. You know, people sometimes they are very prejudiced about ghostwriting, but it's not hiring someone to write the book for you because the subject is yours. It's like Bob Proctor, how many books he has that were written only with excerpts from his seminars and videos. You know, it's still his content. He just didn't have to do the work, him writing. You know, there was someone doing this administrative part of the job. You know, freeing him with time for him to create other content, to create his programs and giving his seminars, you know. So this is an option. We do this as well at Hasmark Publishing.
Yeah,
and that's how I think I want to have mine, because I'm not that writer. I'm not that good speller either, but that'll be the best way for me to do mine too. Trixie, you got a great story to tell. I mean, I think it's fascinating that a journalist, because I don't know any journalist who's actually walked the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival. I'm still amazed by that. I'm still happy that you were able to do that. That within itself is a story of what you do. Tell Danielle and tell Mark what you do.
Well, I did win the 2018. This is for my Cannes Film Festival. This is for my international special. And I covered the Cannes Film Festival and the Grand Prix in Monaco, Monte Carlo, and it was very wonderful for me, along with charities in Houston, like which one was it again? Oh, the Houston Cat Cafe and a few others, and it was just such a blessing to me to be able to do such a thing and walk the red carpet and get that experience and talk about the charities that I'm involved in, not just, you know, interviewing celebrities and fashion designers and models. You know, we have to go to the root of things and how we can keep the world going. And that's always charity work. Got to give back. And I love animals. So I love to give back to animals. So if it's with animals, I'm going to do it. And it's something that I did. And I did a lot of commercial advertising for this show that won the bronze. So it was wonderful for me. So it was a wonderful experience doing the whole thing for the whole episode. Of course, it was in 2018, and I do expect to go back when things get better from COVID. So hopefully I can proceed on doing more charity work, not only in Houston. I'd like to help, you know, other cities, other countries. It's something I've always wanted to do. And
you do a lot on the music side. Show your 2020 silver trophy there.
Oh, this is my 2020. This is for my Miami special that I won, and it was for 3 wonderful segments. It was for the King Movement. It's a really great organization. They walk with God, and they try to. There's 11 chapters in the USA, and they give men and women, mostly men, but of all nationalities, not just Black men, but Hispanics and Caucasian and any men, but that are finding themselves troubled. And they have a place for you to, you know, they want to help. And so if you have any questions or if you need any help, they'll help. And we did a celebrity golf tournament to help that organization. And we really succeeded. And I'm very proud of that. And for the women's organization, for the Women's Sports Power Brunch, this is what won. And I think it was a good cause. So for me, going to Miami from Texas, taking the time, you know, interviewing people from those organizations and helping raise money It's not just interviewing; it's raising money for these organizations. That's the whole reason. We did that, and so I was very happy for that, and for clothing for Nate Robinson, basketball player, NBA. Slam dunk champion. Let me not forget him. He also helped win this award because he held this wonderful party downtown Miami that was promoting his clothing launch party to help the youth for minorities in Miami. Yeah, this
Tosh,
is for everybody there.
Tosh, give your story to Mark and Danielle.
All right. Well, I can't beat Trixie's story because she's too awesome. But I just started my career last year. When the pandemic hit, like it was kind of like a well, let me take off my glasses because this glare is killing me. So the pandemic hit, and it was like a time for me to it was a reset. It was it was a wake up call for me, and I had given up on music about 4 years ago because I was like, it's never gonna happen. I don't have the money to do this and this and this, and I just I let a lot of negative energy influence me to stop doing music. So when the pandemic hit, I actually, funny story that Mark, you said that you were reading The Secret. I got told to read The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and that opened my eyes completely. And it was kind of like oh my God, this is what you have to do, Nathasha. This is the time for you to pick up where you left off and, give it a shot. And I am so blessed and grateful that I read that book, because I literally tell everybody, if you're in a time of your life where you're confused, or you just don't know if what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, this book really clears your mind, and it just sets you up to the path of success. Honestly, I one day I hope to meet Rhonda Byrne, because that book honestly changed my life. So I started my music. I released my first song last year, and right now I am gonna release my 5th song on March 19. So I'm really, really happy, because it's the first 4 songs that I took out, it's kind of trying to see what type of artist I want to be, or kind of still figuring out what I want to sing. So this song that I'm going to release in March 19, is called Que Paso. I'm in Latin pop music is what I really want to do. I'm very inspired by Shakira and J-Lo. And so I kind of want to have a little mix of those two ladies. So that's what I've been working on. I'm very determined to, one day be in a sold out Madison Square Garden of people just listening and singing to my songs. And that is my story so far. I was in the corporate world. So Danielle, when you were saying about the corporate world, that takes a lot of time, and Terry too, I felt it, because
it's stressful.
it sucks, because I never had time to focus on my music. I was always tired when I got home, and I was like, this cannot be my life every day. It can't be. And that's when I decided to quit corporate, and I went into restaurant, and a lot of people said oh wow, you got a degree and you work in restaurant. I'm happy. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing music. You can later thank me when you're see me doing concerts and stuff, and you'll be like, oh yeah, Nathasha did that. Yes, Nathasha did that.
And Tosh, it's one of those things where, you know what? Other people can't make you happy. You can only make yourself happy. And a lot of times it's always adversity that comes in to do that most of the times. I mean, and Mark, you can relate to these songs. You and I were disc jockeys. Have you ever heard someone write a happy song besides Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Happy, which he hated that song, but he wrote it because he was unhappy, but it became his most famous song, and he hated singing it. But think about that. Most successful songs are from sorrow.
Yeah, they are. That's right. I think that music, or certainly I feel that music is the sound of emotions. And a lot of the time it'll be negative and hurtful emotions, or want to get over something, or being determined. But the first time I heard Pharrell Williams Happy, and he did the 24-hour video, and I was like, what? I was like, what a great idea. Let's write a song about being happy. And I could watch that on 24-hour repeat. Sometimes I'd fall asleep to it, and I'd wake up and he'd still be going on like 3-minute loops. I was like,
it's an awesome song.
I was like, Pharrell, I love you. This is amazing. And but yeah, you're right. Music is the sound of emotion, 100% there.
Did you ever perform in Colombia or at Monaco?
I've in Monaco, yes, I've been to Monaco. Yeah, I've performed in Monaco. I've been all over. I've been to South America. I've never been to Colombia, but I've been to Miami. Obviously, I played in Miami. I played in Rio. No, I didn't. I played in Sao Paulo in a club called Floresta in Sao Paulo. Beautiful club in the center of the city. Amazing place. I was there for 24 hours and I had to fly back and play in a place called Milton Keynes, which is about an hour north of London. So I was Thursday night in Sao Paulo and Saturday night in Milton Keynes. It's not all glamour, Brian, let me tell you.
Oh, I know. That's why I wanted to stay in a radio station. I got tired of lugging my albums on my sack in a big, huge backpack. And that was it. Once I had 68 albums with me, I said, this is enough. I'm not doing this stuff anymore. And like I said, it was La Isla Bonita and it was Chicago house music that did it for me. That's when I stepped aside.
And now, all of those albums are on this little stick here, right? That's that's it. That's the future right there.
Thursday.
So Terry, talk about your what you dance to, because Mark and I have played all the stuff that you're dancing to as your TikTok videos. Mark, she wants to get her followers up, so she does these great. She gets these great videos that she does on TikTok. Some people make fun of her, but I go, if it makes you happy, continue to.
Either people like don't get my humor, they don't get my humor, but I don't really care because I enjoy it. But back to what Tasha was saying, though, I mean, even in my corporate life, I still am able to do stuff I'm passionate about with, obviously with Red Coat, with the hosting, with, training, with doing shows, and then I have time to do the TikTok stuff. But yeah, I just more do like 80s, 90s, early 2000 music, mostly rock. So I've always been a big rock fan. So it's instead of doing the hip hop stuff with the younger kids do, but so, I'm too old for that. So.
Hey, Danielle, what music do you listen to?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very eclectic. I love classical music, but of course my favorite genre is the 80s. The 80s.
Yes.
I am used to say that I miss a time that I didn't live, because I wasn't an adolescent in the 80s. I was a child, but the music that plays in that time brings so many memories I didn't live from the 80s that I say I had two lives,
What groups were you listening to?
Oh, Depeche Mode, Pet Shop Boys, all of them. Yeah, so many. But the 80s are like my best decade of music, And I also love a lot, for example, in the 50s, I know it's like, but Elvis Presley is my ultimate idol, okay, in terms of singer, and a lot of classical music, I don't have a very specific kind of genre, but mainly this that I just spoke about.
So that go back to Terry. So I told Danielle and I told Mark, when we have Edie on, my Southern grandmother from Alabama, that's Elvis Presley. She's the Elvis Presley brand. So I will have you guys come in when I do that show, and it'll be great. So you can hear the Elvis stories that she knows. Her feeding Elvis the peanut butter and I forgot whatever sandwich it was. She used to make that for Elvis. She's part of that brand when we go to Tennessee and do things. Tosh, what music are you listening to now besides your own, obviously?
So right now, I mean, I'm stuck with like the whole Latin pop, like kind of gotten into salsa a little bit, kind of switching it up a little bit, like back to like when I was like a young kid and my mom would play like Celia Cruz. Well, I mean, yes, but like younger, like Celia Cruz. I love songs where I can dance. I'm a dancer, so anything that has
I love that.
a nice dance beat and fantastic lyrics. That's all I need to just have a good time.
Trixie, what do you listen to? Trixie, what are you listening to?
Well, right now I'm listening to everything, but like Natasha, I am listening to a lot of Spanish. Right now we have Ramon Ayala coming to Houston, so I'm all about norteño. That's the accordion. Da, 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 da. And so I'm all about getting on the dance floor. I'm ready to get the hell out of this COVID situation and go dance. So on March 20th, he's going to come out here. We're going to have a big festival about it and have vendors, people selling stuff. You know, vendors are selling their jewelry and knickknacks, you know, purses and stuff. And I think it's a great opportunity for Houstonians to get out and celebrate the culture and celebrate the music. It's going to be a wonderful time. So I've been listening to that because that's actually what I really, really like. But I listen to a lot of everything. But I really like Spanish too, and I'm glad I'm able to cover something like that. That, I mean, you know, it's been a year. I'm ready to get out. So
we all are.
I'm like,
hey, Mark.
Whoa!
Hey, Mark, what are you listening to?
Well, I've been doing online DJ mixes on my Mixclouds. So
I know I've been seeing some of those. I've been checking them out.
Some of those, yeah, nice, Brian. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, I've been stalking you.
I love it. I love it. So we on Mixclouds now with my DJ setup, all my digital DJ setup, a few lights, a few live remix posters and banners, and a couple of boxes that plug into the laptop. I can now stream my DJ sets out to the world from the comfort of my home office. It's been, do you know what? It's been really good. What happened was back in March, you know, I wasn't DJing that much, you know, last year. You know, I've wound it down a little bit, doing a couple of gigs here and there. But basically, I've got multiple sources of income, lots of other things, doing a book to write and everything else. So I've done all of that. And then as it went through the summer and then we got lockdown 2, I think it was probably in November here. You know, I was starting to think this is going on, you know, way too long. And it was people, I could feel people getting really kind of like down here in London. And I thought to myself, right, I've got a huge following, I've got a big following of people that know me from the DJ days. You know, I've got pages with like 30,000 followers on and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing this. So I bought a couple of bits of kit and everything, and I tried it out, and I did a DJ mix, and the response was great. And we've had about 800 people online last Saturday, which is a healthy amount, and people just listening to really cool, great dance music, classics, mixes of classics. So I play like, you know, mix of Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams, and then I'll be playing.
I love that song.
It's a great track. And then I'll be playing Robin S. Show Me Love, and then I'll be playing a cool house record that nobody knows, or that, you know, you had to be in like 1980s or 1990s London to know. Then I'll play some disco. But the point is that what it's done for all the people that have tuned into it is it's uplifted. And people, the other thing it's done, Brian, is what it's done is given people a rhythm to the week, because otherwise every day is just, it is like over and over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. It's just the same.
Exactly.
But Saturday nights now with my DJ mixes for the last 2 or 3 months, literally, to promote the book and obviously say, hi, I'm here, and read my book. It's great. And you're going to be happy and it's all good. But I'm doing these DJ mixes and I'm finding them incredibly uplifting myself. And also people are literally tuning in going, thank goodness you're doing this, because I've got something to set my week to, that I know, right, Saturday night, I know that Mark's going to be there and the music's going to be good. And that is beautiful, mate.
That's a really, really good thing. So I've been, you know, I love Depeche Mode. That was like the last time I was doing disc jockey stuff in Hollywood, in California, Los Angeles. And we, at that station, Power 106, we were #1 at that point. And, you know, once you get up to the top, you're like, okay, how long is it going to last for? What's going to take us down? How long could I last for? And you got to start staying. And then you start seeing, like I said, it was Chicago House that I said, okay, I see music changing. It's time for me to step out. So I stepped out when we were on top, and I was very, very fortunate to do that, because you don't get a chance to do that a lot, do you, Mark? You didn't have that actually. You had to reinvent your life, huh?
Well,
Life Remixed.
I stepped in at exactly about the time you were stepping out by the sounds
exactly.
of it.
Exactly.
But I was forced, in some ways, my body forced me into remixing my life. Thankfully, I've done it very, very successfully, and I've shared it all in the book. There's loads of strategies in there for people. There's all the fun, all the difficult times, all the ways to fix it, and everything is in there. And, some of the things that people have said about this book, some of the backing, the energy behind it, from DJs, from coaches, from multimillionaires, from Bob Proctor and Marcy, from the Secret, from Judy and Peggy McCall at Hazmat. All of these people, the energy behind this, Brian, is something extra. And I can't thank all of you enough for allowing me to come on here and us talking about it together. I'm really, really grateful to every single one of you, and I appreciate it.
Well, anytime I can keep people up all night, I'm happy. I'm all for it. So, Tasha, give your social media links so they can follow who you are.
Yes, so I am known as Vocally Tosh. So that's my Instagram handle, Facebook handle, everywhere you put Vocally Tosh and I'll come up. But my name is Nathasha Rumbos, so that's my artistic name. Vocally Tosh is more of like my radio personality. And you can find me on my website as well, Nathasha Rumbos.
Terri?
Terri Marie nonstop on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. And I'm sorry for my audio and my lighting today. I had told you, as I said, technical difficulties was my day.
Technical problems. We all know what it's like.
Yep.
Trixie, yours?
Oh, I was gonna say I was out of light. I was out of light and out of power all last week, but
Yeah.
So yes, my plug is customtrends.tv, and be sure to tune in because I have a very good special coming with Amazon Prime Video. It's called Being Proficient, and it's a sporting show, and it's going to be about the best sport athletes. And I'm hoping right now I'm given a couple episodes, and if things go well with Amazon Prime, I could do a whole series of it. So we'll see how that goes. And right now I have some heavy hitters that are so interested, and we're ready to shoot in the next, 11 days. Oh my God, I've got to get ready. So
Congratulations.
I'm going to bring home the gold. I've got the silver and the bronze, and I really want to bring home the gold because it is not for me. It's for the people, because I know we have it here in Houston to bring home the gold. And it's not something that I'm just going to do for Houstonians. It's also sport athletes in Vegas and in Los Angeles. Hello, Los Angeles. And
yes.
So I'm trying to incorporate more athletes as time progresses. But, I'm given the chance to, have a couple episodes. So be sure to tune in because customtrends.tv, we're coming at you with Being Proficient. And I think that's going to be the next thing. It's the best thing for 2021. Watch out now.
Danielle, give your website, social media links.
DanielleMartins.com. You can also find me at hasmarkpublishing.com. Social media, Danielle Martins on Facebook, Danielle Martins Official on Instagram, Real Dan Martins on Twitter, Danielle Martins everywhere.
And Danielle is Movie Reviews and More's multimedia liaison group. That's what I call her. Mark, give your social media links.
Thanks, Brian. So it's markwilkinsonofficial.com is the website. That's the only place you can buy Life Remixed until next Tuesday when it goes live on Amazon. Twitter at DJ Mark Wilkinson, Mark Wilkinson Life Remixed, Mark Wilkinson Official across Facebook and Instagram. I'm not hiding, Brian. You can find me anywhere, right?
No, I know. I've been stalking you. I feel like a woman stalking Mark Wilkinson.
I'm available.
So,
Brian.
And I got to plug this really, really quickly because this is one of the things. Next week, we're going to start plugging books. So this is BlendJet. You can't really see it, but this is the new thing that I got, an instant blend. I've been waiting for this. And I thank the people from Lightspeed PR for sending it to me. I'm going to start making my own smoothies with this now. So as I leave with everybody, I want to thank everybody. So Mark, please check out and go buy his book, check out his website, and listen to what he's creating music-wise because he's not going to stop. Don't stop until you get enough, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Tosh Lee, you got to take a chance on Vocally Tosh, see what she's coming up. She's doing really, really well on her website and audio music videos. Trixie, what she just said, I couldn't be happier for her, what she's going, and we're going to help her get the #1 some kind of way. Nonstop. I'm going to keep pushing you writing a book, and then we'll get you back on stage some kind of way. Danielle Martins, thank you so much, because it's way, way past your bedtime, but I thank you and appreciate you for coming on, because we got more of these authors coming on in the future. And I leave everybody saying this. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More. We will see you next week.